Hi and welcome to The Curve Weekly, the podcast that keeps you up to date with all the money, business and stock market tea.
Everyone should experience first class at least once in their lives, and Annie shouldn't miss out just because she can't afford it.
Help me, I'm poor.
I don't think I could date an actor either.
Just for context, for anyone that didn't hear, we're in a news studio and so like Spike, the audio engineer, does like those.
Great
it
name.
honestly looks like, you know, the emoji in your phone where it's like a movie clapper thing, you know, like the black. What even is the word for that?
Like a movie clapper?
Yeah, where it's like take one,
Take two, take 56. Yeah.
And Vic was like, imagine one day if I was an actress. I was like, oh, do you know what? I just don't think that that's going to be your second career.
Yeah.
But what did you say about the dating? Sorry, I was just
couldn't
giving
date an
context.
actor.
Why?
I'd see them hooking up with someone on the screen. I'd be like, you're cheating. You're cheating.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I've got
I just
friends.
want to be like fine about it. Like, it's fine. It's just acting. It's just acting. You know?
I mean, how many actors and actresses are in a movie together and then end up in a relationship because they
I know, that
realise
would be
they
great.
have chemistry?
Well,
like
that's maybe why I should be an actress.
Why? Because you'll find someone.
Because I might fall in love with my co-host. My co-host?
Vic's like secretly wishes I was a guy.
I mean, would make life easier.
No, it wouldn't, because we'd be so sick of each other. Imagine working together, being friends, having sex, living. Did I say living together?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
All of the above. It would be like,
you get home, what would you talk about?
where's the diversification? You know?
So I have just come back from a beautiful holiday in Sardinia. Oh, it's probably like one of my favourite places, I reckon.
Do you think?
Yeah, 100%.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was so great about it?
Oh, just like Italy, but then beach. It was just a great combination of everything, you know?
But why? I need to know because I've just been to Italy too. What
Yeah.
about Sardinia was, because it's an island, right?
Beaches, food, the amount of like chill, but then like bougie, you know, like I don't like completely barren. I like to like have a nice restaurant, nice beach club. But anyway, we stayed at this hotel that I booked through booking.com. And then no sooner after I'd booked it, I was like, damn it.
What?
It's like, I should have used ShopBack.
Oh, because we've only just found out about this and
Yeah.
it's such a hack.
And I was so gutted and I like couldn't go back in anyway. So I have made it like a thing now that anything I buy, even my Uber Eats in the weekend, I put through ShopBack, which was great.
So how does that work?
So ShopBack has like over 250 leading online brands on there. So if there's any kind of online shopping you want to do, just go through there first, see if it's on there, and then go through there because you get instant discounts.
And so is it things like clothes to Uber Eats to holidays? Like there's obvious,
Everything.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And even some things you're like, oh my goodness, I didn't think that would be on there.
So if you had found, for example, say you'd found your hotel that you wanted to book, you'd found it on booking.com, you could have just quickly checked ShopBack and you could have done it on there and you would have actually earned money back.
Yeah. You get cash back that accumulates and then you get it back. So even better, if you sign up using the code CURVE5, all in capital letters, then you get a $5 extra sign-up bonus, which is
And
great.
so the idea is you'll get $5 in your account, but then you can keep using ShopBack, keep getting money, and then eventually you can get it paid out.
Yep.
And am I right in thinking you can do it into your PayPal or a New Zealand bank account?
Yes, you can.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
how great.
Yeah. Go visit
We
ShopBack.
love that. Okay, so
Any
next
type
time.
of saving. Every dollar counts.
Yeah.
Every dollar counts right now.
But for all New Zealanders, ShopBack, NZ, get amongst it.
Get amongst.
What is happening in the world of money, business, stock market? Have we had a big weekend? What's going on?
Yes, there has been lots going on. So the biggest headline, and it was actually splashed across the FT this weekend, which Financial Times.
Thank you.
Yeah, the Financial Times. I love it. Danny, our commercial director, when she arrived in London, she's like, oh, so good to be able to pick up an actual Financial Times. I was like, I know the feeling. That was like the first thing I did when I landed here. I was like, because you just read it online and then you just feel like you're
Maybe I should get one and see if I like it.
It's quite nice getting the newspaper in the weekend, reading it. I mean, I don't have time to do that during the week, but
Yeah. Also,
maybe we'll get it delivered to our new office.
a lot of people are like, what's the office? Who's Danny? We have actually recorded an introduction so that you can meet the team because we've got lots of big changes happening behind the scenes at the Curb. They might be like, who's Danny? What? I'm confused.
Anyway, she's our commercial director. She's amazing. Anyway, so it was splashed across the front page of the FT this weekend, the Financial Times, and it is that Revolut might be IPOing. Now, for those of you who don't know what Revolut is, it is a digital bank. It is, one of the UK's kind of most valuable fintech companies. And for those of you who don't know what an IPO is, it is when a company goes public for the first time, so you and I can buy shares. So pretty cool. For anyone that banks with Revolut, loves the product, loves the service, you can now buy shares in it if you want. Or soon.
It's quite funny because in New Zealand, we don't really have that many digital banks.
No.
Are they called neobanks, or is that like a...
That's different. Oh. Yeah. Neobanks is like, I think it's like smaller banks.
That's so embarrassing because the other day I was like, it's a neobank. And they were like, oh, is that the word? And I said, I thought so.
I stand corrected. It is a digital only bank. Yeah.
Okay.
So Monzo, Revolut, Wise, all digital banks and neobanks.
It's essentially when they start digital because
Why
obviously
Neo?
I don't know, but a lot of New Zealand banks obviously have apps and they are online now. So people might be like, what? But a neobank is one that you can't go into a Monzo, you can't go into a Revolut.
There's no tellers, there's no, I
don't even think you can call to speak to someone. It's all digital.
It's so annoying. Monzo.
Yeah.
We've got a Monzo business account and I'm just like always on the chat being like,
hi me again.
I want to speak to someone. But that's how they keep their fees so low and like continue to remain innovative and all of that is because they don't have these huge overheads or the huge costs of having like a high street bank, where they have to employ people and all of that. So
I also think it's like in terms of digital banking, like obviously if you're with another bank and you have your digital banking, you might notice the experience sometimes is not super fluid. Like if you compare the user experience to an app, you're like, oh, it's not quite marrying up, whereas the neobanks are tech first. So the whole idea of it is that the experience has been created by using technology. And so
they're kind of called challenger banks because you've got all these really archaic old banks that have been around for like hundreds and hundreds of years, some of them. And it's so hard to change a big institution's technology or be innovative when there's like so many systems and processes already established. Whereas when you're like a new entrant and you're a challenger, you're starting from a clean slate, so you can be like, right, let's do tech first. And that's why, everything it's so much easier to use, I find. And I think for our generation, like we've been brought up with digital things. So it's like we're used to it. Like my parents being like, what? I can't call up or I can't go to the bank and deposit a check, like that for them would be quite difficult. But I think for us, we've grown up with this. So yeah. But anyway, they are possibly IPOing in London.
So they'd go on the London Stock Exchange?
Yeah, but maybe. So the UK government's trying to woo them because they're looking at listing in the US.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And
I wonder if it's like a client deal. You're like, I take you out for lunch.
Oh,
like what will they be doing?
It'll be like, look, we'll cut the fees or we'll cut, I don't know what discussion.
Well, it makes sense though, because if it's a British company and it launched here, I fully understand why it would be ideal for it to launch. Or, like if it does IPO on, is that the FTSE or is that the index?
That's the index.
Okay, so on the London Stock Exchange.
Yeah, so you would want a company that has been established and founded and created in your home country to list on your home stock exchange. But the whole thing with the London Stock Exchange at the moment is that companies are leaving it because it's not doing very well. There's a lack of demand from UK investors, and so they're all going. Well, a lot of companies are going to the US or other exchanges, and so they're trying to keep people on the stock exchange plus attract new ones. I don't know, from Revolut's perspective, it's like, well, why would I go on the London Stock Exchange, which is done terribly, which means my share price is probably going to do terribly, or I could go to the US Stock Exchange where it's done so well and there's a lot of demand. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, it would be like putting your stock, say you were a clothing designer and putting your stock into a department store that was like doing really, really badly, or putting it in a new flashy one. I mean, I'm not saying the New York Stock Exchange is new, but like putting it in a department store that's new, exciting, got lots of customers, lots of shoppers, you're more likely to sell more stock. And it's exactly like that.
Let's use the example of a restaurant. Let's say there's two.
Did that not work?
Yeah, no, it was good. I just have another.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I was like,
No, that
was perfect.
No, it is perfect. Sorry. I guess the main question I have is how can that be turned around? Because if we were to look at restaurants and there was two Italian restaurants next to each other and one always, there was flocks of people. It was known on Instagram. Everyone went there.
Yeah.
What if the restaurant next door that no one's at has a really beautiful menu and really delicious food, but because no one trusts it because no one else is eating there, no one actually how does that restaurant actually make a comeback?
It would go to people and be like, hey, we'll give you 50% off to get you back in to try the food because we know it's amazing.
So this is exactly what's happening.
So it'll be something like that, or it'll be, I don't know the discussions, but I assume it's around like that kind of thing. So...
Because it would be really, I mean, I guess everything that's happening in the world politically, like there's a lot of instability everywhere.
Yeah.
I feel like all the money and all the economic success being based in the US, I don't love it. Like if it could be diversified where like the London Stock Exchange is doing really well and so is the NASDAQ. You know, it's actually positive for the whole world, not just London.
Because it's like a vicious cycle. If you keep getting the good global companies going to the US, then more people start investing there, then more companies go, and it's just like it ends up being like very, like you say, undiversified and not very good because everything's going there, it's going into their economy, it's taking away from other economies. It's just like it's not the best, but we'll see what happens. But it's expected to be valued about $45 billion, which is quite incredible. And it was founded by two guys, Nikolai and Vlad, in the UK. Anyway, it was only founded 9 years ago and it's a $45 billion company now.
Wow.
Crazy.
But in saying that though, 9 years ago, neobanks weren't a big deal.
No.
Like it is very innovative to have like come up with that, invested that much money, time into tech to build it 9 years ago because if you think about the landscape, and this is what you talk about when it's like you invest for the future. So you're like, you invest in a company that you think in 10 years is going to be doing well. So if something's already hit its peak, maybe it's not you're not going to get great returns. It's similar to this. This is like, you know, to have thought of this idea and it now be big in the boom of like
And it was literally born out of the frustration of them trying to deal with traditional banks and the fees and the foreign exchange and just like that frustration. And so in the Investing Club, we're about to launch the new 3 stocks for August.
So just for anyone who's missed this, we have the Curve Classroom, which is our online courses. The Investing Club is kind of like a step beyond that. So people, well, me particularly, but all of our audience, heaps of people have said they want more detailed research and like basically investment ideas, stock picks that we can do all the research for, give them to you so you can make your own decision. And the Investment Club at the moment is just the founding members. But if you would like to know when you can join, we'll put a little link just to join the Curve community, like our email sign up in the podcast show notes because right now you can't. So it's just, it sounds a bit mean us talking about it.
But if you sign up to our newsletter, then
we'll let you know when you can. Yeah, sorry.
But anyway, what we talk about in there is one company, Uber, this month. Sorry,
oh my God,
let the cat out of the bag. Let the cat out of the bag. But it was exactly the same thing. The two founders there started Uber because they were standing on the side of the road on a snowy night in Paris and they were like, why can't we get a taxi? Like, how cool would it be if you could just order on your phone? And I don't know, it's just like all these grand ideas start by solving a problem. Do you know what I mean? Like it's thinking of like your own frustrations. If you're thinking of a side hustle or anything, it's like, what is your own frustration or own problem? And because it's probably going to be someone else's problem as well. So yeah, I don't know. It's just quite interesting.
It sounds like such an obvious thing to say, but actually that I think has been, and as we were figuring
like Canva, for example. Canva was born out of the frustration of how Adobe Photoshop was so complex.
It is so hard to use.
And it's like, this should be easier. And like all these things are just, Another exciting thing that caught my eye is to do with the world's biggest coffee chain. Do you know what that is?
Oh, can I have a clue?
The world's biggest coffee chain everywhere.
Starbucks.
Yeah. I was like, little white cups with green circles. Yeah.
I can't believe it's still the biggest.
I know. So it's had the CEO for literally just over 12 months, a new CEO. Like it's been struggling for a wee while. This new CEO's come in. He's been in there for just over 12 months and he left last week.
Oh, gosh.
So 12 months for a CEO
That's
is
nothing,
like
right?
you can't make change in 12 months.
It's like a politician. You almost need a couple of rounds in the
exactly.
seat.
Like even like 4 years as a politician is pretty short. So 12 months, pretty short. And the new CEO is...
Wait, why did the old CEO leave?
Because he was doing a terrible job.
Okay.
Yeah. And anyway, they've got this new CEO from Chipotle Mexican Grill. You know Chipotle?
No.
Oh,
Should I?
Yeah. Oh my God. For someone that loves tacos and
really?
guacamole,
Okay,
it's like probably the world's biggest Mexican chain.
Mexican Grill?
Chipotle, it's just, You know, the little chicken? Yeah.
I didn't realize that was a so is it a restaurant in the States?
It's a restaurant chain, yeah.
I just thought that it was a condiment.
Chipotle. Yeah. I mean,
anyway, sorry.
Yeah. So
Continue.
anyway, he's come from Chipotle. He is getting at least $113 million as a pay package.
How much?
$113 million.
For a year.
No, to join Starbucks.
But so it's almost like his prequel to his salary.
So it's combined with.
So it's a bonus.
It's a large part of it is that he's going to miss out on getting shares at Chipotle. So Starbucks is like, okay, well, come join us and we'll pay you for what you're going to miss out at Chipotle.
Imagine if someone wanted you that
I know.
much. Guys, this is a really good reminder.
Value
if
yourself.
someone wants you, they will pay through the nose. Do not say, what's the pay bracket? What do you have to pay me? Like,
Do
wow.
not settle. Yeah. Anyway, and they've got to pay the exiting CEO like $10 million to effectively leave as like an exit package. So it's going to cost the company like
so much money.
over $120 million for this change in CEO, which is crazy. And anyway, so this new guy that's come in.
Imagine the pressure though.
I know.
Like coming in knowing that's how much you're being valued.
I wouldn't sleep. I'd work 24 hours a day.
Same. I'd be like, how can I stay awake 23?
Do you think that's a female thing? Would be like, oh, you've paid me this much. I really need to prove my worth. I don't think he's.
If there's any guys listening that are paid a shitload of money or have gone into a situation similarly to this, I mean, I know 113 million is ridiculous, but is there a correlation? I'd love to know. Either are you a woman or a man that's earning a heap of money, and how do you manage the pressure of being paid that much?
I think it's just comes down to your skills. Like he's obviously done a fantastic job at Chipotle. And so he's like, well, if you want me, you got to pay me.
But how good can you be?
Well, $113 million.
That's what I mean, though. Like,
but anyway,
what kind of skills has he learned? Like,
so the whole exiting old CEO, new CEO coming in has cost the company about $120 million. But after they announced the new CEO, the share price at Starbucks went up 25%. So it added $21 billion to the company. So it's already paid it back instantly.
oh, so he'll be like, damn it, I undersold myself.
Yeah. I should have charged $21 billion.
However, when the share price goes up like that, the company doesn't immediately benefit, right? It's like it's on paper. So it's not actually, they're paying out of their pocket $113 million, whereas the share price is not something they can cash out on.
No, but it does then lead to a whole lot of other things in terms of like the employees that have shares, you know, their worth is increased, like the value of the company's increased. You know, he's just moved the share price by 25%. Like he's not even in the job yet. It's just the announcement. So the increase in investors.
Can you imagine? I'd be so up myself if that was happening. Can you imagine if someone was like, honestly, like, oh yeah, Sophie's going to come work for us, and then
the share price,
that's outrageous.
You'd be worried if the share price went down. Starbucks would be like, oh shit, we've made a terrible call. But the fact that they've already had such a great return on that investment is, I mean, time will tell. That's a very quick increase in share price, like whether it's sustained and stays like that.
How quick did it happen? They announced it and went up straight away.
Day, yeah. Also, there has been, which I was writing this out and I was like, yeah, well, of course. And then I was like, oh, okay. Anyway, millennials are now wealthier than previous generations were at our age. Which sometimes I'm like, yeah, of course. But then other times I'm like.
What do you mean, yeah, of course? Oh.
Like, so us millennials are now wealthier than our parents and our grandparents were at our age.
But is this based on like, because obviously inflation's way higher. We earn much more, the salary's higher.
Yeah.
Is it
it's all
comparatively?
Adjusted for inflation, all of that, yeah.
That's so interesting because we always complain about how like the baby boomers got the property cheap.
I know, yeah.
But we're actually better off.
Yeah, so we're 25% more wealthy.
Wow, okay,
Yeah.
Eat our words. That is really funny.
And the biggest driver is real estate. So it's probably the older millennials that got in or people that bought real estate back in
15 years ago.
2010 kind of thing, or like the not in the 2020s. Just before it like took off. So, but hey, you're about to buy a house.
Well, I actually did have another meeting with a bank last night, and they were the nicest because I had one meeting with a stockbroker, and then I had a second.
No,
I won't say who it was.
No, you didn't have a stockbroker.
Did I not?
No.
I think I did.
No.
Mortgage broker?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Mortgage broker. Thank you. Sorry.
Different asset.
Yeah. A mortgage broker. And she was just really like these are the rules. This is what happens. No, no, no. And I was like, gosh, that's really small-minded of like, and I'm not going to name who it was because she's one of the top in New Zealand, which is crazy to me that there's not more openness towards like freelancers and people that own businesses. But it was just like a flat out no.
The whole point of a mortgage broker is to like go away and find something that works for me. It's not, don't tell me I don't fit into a hole. Like, go find a hole that I fit into.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll crawl into any hole.
Yeah. It's kind of like, yeah, I remember I didn't actually use one when I bought my house, but it was a friend that I used a few years before just to like see what the vibe was.
Did you go straight to the bank? So you didn't use a mortgage broker?
Because I didn't have a income at the time.
So how did they let you in?
Because
what? So confused. Why do they hate me?
How did they let you in? Like to the club?
Like what hole did you crawl into? And how did you find it? Can you show me some?
No, so I had to go with ASB because I just had a job. I had a job offer, but I hadn't had any pay slips yet. So I was like, this is what I'm going to get paid. You can see my history over the last 10 years because I've always been with ASB. And so that's why I had to go with them because it was like anyone else would have been like, actually you have to wait until your probation period and all of that. And so they didn't have the best rates or anything at the time, but I was like, just do it.
Well, it sounds, I mean, basically what's happened since
do you feel like it's going to be like an FU once you get a mortgage?
Yeah,
just
totally.
to go back and be like, hi Mary, just wanted to let you know I actually did get a hole.
100%.
And
so when I was, and I have crawled into it. So when I was on the phone to this woman the first time, she was doing the whole like, well, the facts are the facts. And I was like, okay, cool, thanks. And I was like, well, I actually like work on a financial education platform and I'm going to find a way. Like I didn't say it in a super bitchy way, but I was like, oh, that's okay. Like I'm sure I'll find a way to, I was kind of being like, sweet, thanks for your shit help. And she was like, well, good luck. Cause like I put through this much a year, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, and she did the whole like, award winning this and that. And I was like, yeah. And so I'm
so cringe.
I know. So I'm going to be like, so just so you know, this is how I did it. Actually, since then, it has made me, on one side, I've had the whole can't wait to say F you, I've done it. But on the other hand, it made me think, because I put a story up on Instagram and I was like, the amount, like if I'd been told that and I didn't work at the curve and I would have just taken that as a no and like never.
Which is why it's so bad.
And that's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, not only am I going to make this my own FU, but I'm also going to share with everyone how I did it because the amount of messages that we got from people being like, oh my gosh, I've been in a similar situation and like, it's just such a nightmare and it really sucks because it makes you think like the amount of people who could have maybe bought property but never had the resource or maybe the confidence to, if they got one no, go somewhere else.
Yeah. No, there'd be people that wouldn't know and they'd just be like, oh, okay, well, she's the best. And
like this one, this person messaged me, I won't say who it is, but she said, my mortgage brokers told me no one would lend to me. He applied within 5 banks and got our application rejected with all of them. In the end, I applied myself and got the mortgage right away. So applying yourself is a great way, in my opinion. I think if AI applied myself with those 5 banks that rejected us, I would also get a mortgage. Just thought that I'd share it as it is possible to do a better job than a mortgage broker yourself if you're willing to try. I also negotiated our interests and everything myself and had a great deal. All the best on your journey, Sophie. But like the amount of messages I got from people that were like,
I reckon it's so who you get.
Someone goes, like, I had a mortgage broker tell me, just go get a job when I'd been making good money self-employed and had no desire to work for anyone else. And I was like, are you serious? And she was like, yep. She was like, no way you can get a house. While another broker got like way more money than I needed. So it's I think it
we're
just
not
depends
shitting on mortgage brokers. There's a lot of really, really good ones out there. But
it just depends who you get. And I think the main learning for me so far has been normally I would just be like, oh, it's a no, they're the expert.
Yeah.
But actually what I think is really important is to remember that you can ask questions, you can find other people.
Yeah. Don't take no for an answer. It's like, kind of it. Yeah. It's like if you want this, then like, yeah, I agree. But anyway, yes, so millennials, we are now wealthier than previous generations were at our age, but this is wealth we're talking about. So this is like assets. This is not income expenses. And if you look at like the expenses, so it's pretty unclear if we're actually better off overall because things have increased like childcare, housing, healthcare, all of that has significantly increased. So, and we're expected to live longer than boomers. So
thank God if we've got more money.
So we'll need to make our money last longer. Anyway, like if you averaged it out. Also, if there's any boomers listening, do they like being called boomers?
I think they hate it. Yeah. I really think it's quite offensive.
I don't know. I feel like every generation gives the other generation shit. Do you know what I mean?
It's like Australia and New Zealand. We're just like, F you
F
for no
you.
reason.
But like, we'll have you back at war.
But can I actually have a job because you pay 30% more?
I'm coming over, yeah. Quickly, some other headlines is that there was a study out in the US that has shown that people are staying in relationships longer for two reasons. Because divorces are getting more and more expensive and because of cost of living. Living alone and single is getting way more expensive. So people are being more extremely unhappy in their relationship. And it's the highest level it's been since 2014. So for the last 10 years. And the divorce rate is the lowest it's been in 50 years. The average cost of a divorce is nearly $15,000 US. So
wow, okay.
if you're sitting there and you don't have cash like that to get divorced,
but you can separate without getting divorced, can't you? Like you don't have to be in the relationship and you can just be legally not.
But then I think that comes back to the other point of, but then you've got to pay for shit yourself, not share the load in terms of that financial.
I mean, like even if I was to look at my flat, the room that I'm in at the moment, I'm paying £1,100 a month.
Yeah.
If I was to move in and be in a couple's room, I'd be paying around $700.
Oh.
Like imagine
Should we?
Yeah. Oh my God, imagine. It's actually quite a big room, big bed. We
month,
wouldn't have to touch.
Two singles. Night, babe, night.
I mean, like, it's not a no. It's a big room.
I had a boyfriend at university who shared a room with his friend. And
I
would literally...
Was there a curtain or something?
No. It was just...
They shared a bed?
No. It was just like opposite ends of the bedroom was their beds. And we'd literally all be like, night.
No.
Yeah. It was so weird.
How much did they pay in rent?
I have no idea. It was pretty cheap in Christchurch at that time.
How old were you?
19, 20, 18, 19.
Would they be like a sock on the door means don't come in?
No, well, the other one had a girlfriend as well. So they'd kind of like...
Alternate?
You'd stay, and he'd stay at mine. Like you kind of knew, but there was definitely nights when we weren't having... They would all just like...
Night, everyone.
Literally, I remember being like turning off the light in my pajamas. Night.
Oh my God, I can't imagine you doing that.
I know, it's quite funny. Anyway, another quick one is that I know we harp on about the gender pay gap.
Yeah.
There's another massive pay gap.
What?
The pay gap between CEOs and average workers is redonkulous.
Really? I love that word, redonkulous. Can we use it more?
Redonkulous. No matter where you kind of look in the world, it's just like outrageous, the level. I mean, we just spoke about this Brian getting paid 113 million.
There's no way even employees are getting 1 million.
No, exactly. So in the S&P 500, so the top 500 companies in the US, the average amount that a typical worker gets there is about $66,000 a year. And the CEO, the average that the CEOs earn is 268 times more.
What is that?
I don't know.
Can we do it? Where's my phone? Hold on. So 18 million.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And the average worker is getting 66,000. So,
but do you think, we're currently co-CEOs of a very small company. Yeah. However, I mean, I know it's different.
We're not getting paid 268 times our employees.
No, definitely not. But I guess my point is I've not been into or seen massive companies like Facebook, blah, blah, blah. I imagine being the CEO of that company would shave 30 years off your life. Like it would be unbelievably stressful. So it's like
it's the risk. It's the
when
risk
you talk about the risk, whether it's you're a surgeon and you get paid this compared to the receptionist at the hospital, it's like the risk the surgeon is taking is much higher.
But I'm sorry,
not that
nothing's
much.
268 times.
No,
higher.
you're right. No, you're right.
And in Britain, in the FTSE 100, the average CEO pay is 4.2 million. So about 8 million Kiwi dollars. Still amazing.
Wow. Who knew being a CEO
and
was the place to be?
High. Yeah.
I didn't.
But yeah, like you said, you'd have to give up your life.
Yeah.
You're managing
thousands and thousands of people. And there's also no it's 10 p.m. I'm switching off. Like absolutely not.
And the reputation.
We're not paying you for that.
Like the Starbucks CEO that's left now, who did a terrible job.
Like how hard would it be to get a job?
Exactly, yeah. And in China, their richest person is officially the 44-year-old founder of Temu.
No.
Yeah. He's worth $49 billion.
Really?
I'm China's richest man.
Okay, I must say I wish I had invested in Temu because every time I search something on the internet, I'm like, new couch or anything, phone case, I'm always like, this is cool. And then I click through and it's Temu. And I'm like,
I know. I did shopping on I was sitting there on Saturday night doing shopping for our new office, and I was like looking, and then I was like, Temu, yeah, here we go. They've actually got some decent stuff.
I know, that's what I mean. I was like, their phone cases and their cords, because I need a lanyard for my phone. I was trying to find a new one, and all the cool
What's wrong with that one?
You don't like it, and I know.
You get a new lanyard like every week.
No, I don't. I just left one in a Lime bike, so I had to get a new one.
Like, it's like you change your underwear, change your lanyard.
I know, how wild to change your underwear every day. Okay, we've been talking for ages.
Yep.
We did a little poll last week saying, like, do you mind how long the episodes are for the Curve Weekly? Because originally this was a way shorter episode, like 20 minutes, 15 even. Most people say they don't mind. However, if we're starting to creep up, please message us and be like, oh my God, make them shorter.
Because I think there's a good differentiator.
Yes, but the amount of research you do for these, I'm like, it's such a shame to not include it.
I can do less.
Like, say, damn it. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to The Curve Weekly. Make sure you hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with all the money, biz and stock market news. And if you like what you heard, we would love a review. Thank you.
Yes, we would love a review. But if you
Only
did hate it, please, don't leave one if you hate it. No, but in all seriousness, could you please leave a review? Because it really helps other people find our cute little podcast.
And we hope you have a good week and see you next Monday.
Bye.
Bye. Sweet. Yeah. See you next Tuesday. Lol. See you next Tuesday. I mean Monday.